Yo, what's up, dude? What's up? So I thought we could come and take another look at this, my 83 Kramer Pacer Imperial. This is sort of the early stages of Kramer. Fender's already got them to get rid of the fender headstock, which most people feel that they just put it on the bandsaw and just sawed off the ball at the end, and that's how this new headstock was born. But that was like a year earlier. This is like a year later. That was like 82-ish. This is 83. They're sort of full on with the new, I think we called it like the beak headstock. And it had a new technology, which was a locking Floyd Rose tremolo. And I bought one back in 84. But by then they had changed the neck shape. This is the one I originally had tried out. Now the one I had looked exactly like the same color, rosewood fretboard, same headstock, everything. But the neck shape was much different. It was much wider, flatter. It was a rare sort of like transitionary neck. When I bought mine, I just got caught in like just the wrong few months to buy one. So this was a much more comfortable earlier neck. Then they had a much more comfortable later neck. And the one I had the terrible sort of in between. Now, some people love that neck. I wasn't a fan. So when I eventually found one, I got this in 2013. It was on Guitar Center used for $325. And I couldn't buy it fast enough. And the guy was super nice. He threw in a Roadrunner soft shell case. So it wasn't without some problems. Most notably the electronics. It had a mix of an EMG active and the original Schaller in the neck passive. The guy probably just never used the neck. Had a battery in it and all that. Yeah, it's really not good. I mean, you can mix them, but it's not a great idea to mix active and passive together. So I wanted to just go back to the original passive, but although it had the original Schaller pickup in it, I felt like those pickups weren't that great sounding. And Seymour Duncan's, which I like, did become part of the standard build right around 86 or 87. Certainly by 87, they're all in on Duncan. So I felt good about using Seymour Duncan as the brand, for the rebuild. So 3 new pots. I got the Bourne's low friction pots. I switched it from volume tone to master volume and 2 tones. I almost put a kill switch in here, but it didn't quite fit and would have made it look a little weird, and it had already been modified with this extra switch that the guy had put in here, so I didn't want to do any more mods to it. It's actually very close to stock, in really decent shape otherwise. The switches were one of the hardest parts because some of the earlier ones I got just did not have the right feel, or they weren't quite the right size, and so I went through a few iterations until I finally got the correct switches for it. So it took a while. I copper lined the switch cavity. I set up a wiring harness by doing a little you basically put a piece of paper over the top of the guitar when all the electronics are out, and that gives you a template, and you can just drill it into like a it's masonite, that like the board they used to use in the back of TVs. Right, you can get a big slab of that at Home Depot for just a few dollars, like $5. Makes a very, very good wiring harness. So I used that, made up wiring harness, wired everything up. The wire I got was actually from Amazon. It was the first time I was using it. Really happy with it. Solid quality stuff. It was like tinned from end to end. Had the nice cloth jackets on it. I just really liked it. Had a vintage feel. The whole thing was quality. It was the top rated wire on there, and it deserves all of its 5 stars. What else? A couple of orange drop caps. I guess that's it for the electronics. I didn't do anything push-pull or anything like that. But this second switch here, I wired it up for the neck. And I have it set so when it's all the way down, it's in series. All the way up, it's in parallel. And in the middle, it's in single coil. And that's it for the electronics. What else did I do? Clean the whole thing up, obviously. But, before I put the strings on it, I did the frets, they weren't bad on it. But there were some frets that were a little flat. And I don't like to crown frets without leveling them. So I did a quick leveling with the beam, with the fret beam that I've had for years now. But that's really paid off. And the Z file, which I complain about the price of that Z file all the time. And I give it a lot of grief for the cost of that stupid file. But damn it, it saves a ton of time. If you were a pro, the amount of time that file saves, because it very quickly, right, you put down a piece of marker and then you file it over it, and you can see it breaking away the side of that fret and leaving a very thin strip, that crown right in the dead center. It's like, oh my God. It's so fast and it's so good that I give it grief, because it's like $120 file, but it's worth it. It really is. Sort of cleaned up and oiled the neck. And I think that might have been it. Of course, I polished the frets. I got the micro mesh and polished them up, got them nice and smooth. Everything feels great. And then cleaned up the tuners. Went through and gave them a real thorough cleaning. And then as I was assembling it, I thought the plates here for the nut were a little worn down. It had deep grooves on the bottom, and had been flaking some of the chrome on the top. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to get the new ones. I got those from Musician's Friend because one of the few places that would ship that part so cheap with free shipping. So I went Musician's Friend on that. The 3 screws I wound up getting from StewMac. They had them in stock, and they were pretty inexpensive. I wound up getting 3 sets of 3 because I can use Floyd Rose screws all the time. And it was a way to justify their $10 shipping. StewMac shipping is a little pricey. So it's like $10 is the start for anything. And so I got 3 sets of 3. And I made sure that for all the parts, the plates and the screws, the original German Schaller stuff. So at that point, I thought I was done, right? I thought at this point, I'm pretty much done with the guitar. Leveled and crowned the frets, new electronics, new plates up here, cleaned, a lot of this up. And I said, I think I'm ready. But this here had a detuner on it, the low E had a detuner on it. And the detuner it had, it just didn't work. It seemed to be broken. Someone actually looked at it and said, I think this is missing a part. And it just didn't seem to work. So I said, you know what, I'm going to get rid of the detuner. It wasn't stock anyway. It's a technology that didn't come out for like another 10 or 15 years. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna take that out. And of course, you buy the screws 6 at a time, and you put that new one in, and it makes all the other screws just look like crap. So I wound up going through and replacing all of them, which isn't a big deal. But remember, you have to, bring the tension down and swap them out. And, and I did a good cleaning again at the same time, just to try and get it as clean as I can. And, it's not perfect. It's still a guitar that's, got some years on it. It's actually, I'm pretty sure it's a maple body based on the route inside. It looks like it's maple. It's a solid maple body with a maple neck and the rosewood fretboard. Inside, I don't know if you can see at the very top. They see that? They scrape away. See right up there? Maybe in one of these cam. Now, actually, I think that top cam had the better shot. All right, you can see that they scrape away up there. See up there, the little light patch. It's because when they put the paint on, it makes it so thick that they're worried about the Floyd Rose scraping, and they would route those out, a little last-minute route after painting. This one has it, and you can clearly see it's maple. It's a maple, and it's got the weight of maple. So that was everything. I think now it just sounds and plays. So many great songs in 83. Got my license in 83. I saw the Iron Maiden on the Peace of Mind tour in 83. I don't know where the backplate is. I forget if it came with it or not, but I'm going to have to try and find it. I may not have the backplate. And I think that little thing, this was added at some point. That was pretty common, though. I think that's about it. I think I've told you everything about the new redo. Let me switch out to maybe a clean tone here. Do I have a... All right. All right, that's the series. The parallel. The single coil. So single coil. Parallel. Very similar, but the parallel is humbucking. And then series is a lot louder. And then I don't have any switching for that pickup. Let me see. What else do we have here? This is like a Silver Jubilee. Feels like it's probably has a little something. You know, and we'll do one more here. Maybe. Oh, people like this one a lot. It's that Brit 87. Got to do that. It's total 80s. All right. Well, there you have it. 1983 Kramer Pacer Imperial redone. So they're refurbished and reset. Almost 40 years later. 38 years later. All right. All right, dudes, as always, thanks so much for hanging out. And rock on.